Okay, let's see our first asana in a sun salutation, Surya Namaskar, Hasta Uttanasana. So as we practice the Samastati or third asana, so we're maintaining that position like a Samastati. So without disturbing any part of the body, first of all, we have to practicing again Samastati, finding your body in Samastati position. Find that stillness, firmness in the whole body, and make sure we again and again adjusting our back so that we have the length on the lower spine. We are not compressing our lower spine. So pulling the belly in and move the tailbone a little down towards the pubic plate, and same time keep the legs stronger. Pressing through the inner arch of the feet. So from in this position, without disturbing any part of the body, we slowly stretch your arms forward. So as we take the arms up over the head, so it's just a tendency as we're raising the arms up, we start to collapsing our shoulders in this position. So we make a very less space, like we're trying to collapse our cervical in this position. So shoulders get very close or very near to our ears. So we try to collapse this reason. We're trying to make the space here by making the very simple action, which is the external rotation of the arms. So as we're rolling the arms outward but without moving the hands, so movement should come from the shoulder, not from the elbow. So as we take the arms up, let's try from the beginning. Lower the hands down. So as you take the arms up, so I just want you to keeping a palm facing. You can as well move the hands. So just trying to roll the arms outward first. Alright, so what happened as you're rolling the arms out, it helps us to like roll the tip of the shoulder back, which help us to maintain the space between our cervical and the neck. Otherwise the shoulder rolls forward and it fills that gap. We don't need to fill that gap to stressing the shoulder. So you're going to trying to roll the deltoid back away from the ear by working on the external rotation of the arm, so which will make our shoulder more broadened, which will make the more space between the neck and the deltoids and shoulder. So as we go up, trying to roll the upper arms like outward movement, but make sure you're not losing the awareness from the back and maintaining the Tadasana action. So rolling the arms upward and taking the both arms here. So keeping the shoulder lower, not to elevating the shoulder. So trying to pull the arm back into the shoulder socket. Yes. And then stretch your tricep, extend the tricep up, and then slowly from this position, moving the forearms in and pressing the hands together, pressing the arms. Yeah, good. And then very gently you can lift your chin up and bringing the eyeball up and looking at your thumb but trying to stretch your hands all the way upward. So as you're working on the extension, but again and again readjust your shoulder, make sure the shoulders are nicely inside of the socket, not the out of the socket. If they comes out of the socket, so we collapse our cervical. So keep them inside the socket, but trying to stretch from the lateral part, from the waistline to the armpit here, and armpit to all the way to the wrist, and wrist to the tip of the fingers. So maintaining the extension from the lateral part of the body, especially from the waistline to the wrist, nicely lifting the spine upward. And then armpit to the tricep, extend the lateral triceps in this position, and then from the elbows to the wrist, nicely extended upward, and wrist to the fingertip, stretching upward nicely. So in this position, again and again readjust yourself, make sure the back is straight as he's doing now, and trying to, in this position, keeping the shoulder wide, and then moving the hands slightly back without pushing the floating ribs into the body. Keep the floating ribs nicely into the body, and then push the hands up and slightly backward. Lift your head up, chin up, look up. If somebody feel difficult or that they are collapsing the shoulder get very close to the neck, so what you can do is simply keeping the hands apart in this position. As you can look front me, neck is straight, yeah. As we keep the hands apart, so what is going to happen, it will allow us to keep our shoulder a little bit wide. Otherwise, as we bring the hands closer, shoulder it's just tendency, natural movement. As we bring the hands closer, so shoulder get very close to the neck. Alright, so if we keep the hands apart, we'll have a little bit of space in our shoulder to the cervical. So we can keep the shoulder away from the ear and trying to spread the top of the shoulder blade as much possible, like away from each other, they're moving outward. So we can take the hands nicely up over the head and nicely stretching the shoulders, armpit region. So we can simply modify it by keeping the hands like away from each other, which will allow us to keep our shoulder broad and not to collapsing the shoulder like that. So shoulder relaxed in this position, and shoulder blade like moving like away from each other as much possible. And then same time, as you maintain the movement, the shoulder blade goes outward and trying to extend your triceps up towards the head of the elbow. and elbows to the wrist. And then here, once we're comfortable here, be aware of the ribs region once and again. So as we work on the flexion of the shoulder, pull the ribs into the body, and then working on the flexion of the shoulder, so ribs in, and then trying to push the forearms and wrist and your fingers heavily backward behind your neck to get the more range on your armpit, to get the more range on the shoulder, and get the more stretch from the sides of the chest, your armpit region, and the upper back as well. So just stretch your arms upward, and same time you're going to push the hands backward to nicely stretch the shoulders, armpit region, from the sides of the chest region. Take a few breaths in this position. But don't lose awareness again from the thigh. Make sure the thighs are strong and firm. And then slowly we can lower the hands down, relax. Back to the Tadasana. So let's again try the Urdhva Hastasana. So from in this position, maintaining the Tadasana action, firmness in the body. And then as you take your arms up, the same way, rolling the biceps outward and take the arms up, stretch your arms front. And then as you're taking the arms up, try to pull them into the shoulder socket, and then stretching from the lateral part of the armpit, from the armpit to the triceps, nicely lengthen upward, and then pushing the hands backward direction as much possible. Now, if you see, if somebody finding difficult to create that range, like that external rotation to keeping the shoulder away from the each other, yeah, it's become a little bit complicated if someone never done the yoga or never have experienced the movement of the shoulder, like inwards, like a upward movement, lower movement, or like moving them away from each other, doesn't have this kind of experience. So it can become a little bit challenging for them to develop the awareness in that part of the body, especially on the shoulder, to how to move the shoulder and how to engaging the armpit muscles and how to stretching the armpit muscles. So we can use a brick for them. The brick will give little idea. So when you push from here, when you push the hands like towards each other strongly against the brick, which will little bit help us to like contracting our scapula, our shoulder blade will help us to contracting our shoulder and scapulas. So which will help us to get deeper into the Urdhva Hastasana. Let's try with a brick. So what you're going to do, just take the hands in front of you, in front of the chest, and palm facing each other. So see what happened as we take the arms here in front of you. So as I mentioned in the beginning, maintaining that external rotation in our arms. So we maintain that external rotation in our arms, in our shoulder basically. From the shoulder, the movement come from the shoulder. So it's moving outward. So upper arms going like outward, the biceps rolling outward direction. Now see, as I said, bring the palms or turn the palm facing each other. So we're not going to disturb that movement here to turning the hands. We have the movement from the elbow like micro rotation. So we're maintaining the upper arms out, widen the shoulder as much possible, and that without disturbing the forearm, tighten the tricep. Without disturbing the arms, we're going to, you already done? Okay, we're going to move the forearms inward. So the one movements come from the elbow, and another movement, second movement come from the shoulder, which is the less movement, more movement we usually do from the elbow. So once again, let's trying to roll the arms outward. So trying to keep the upper arms nicely out, shoulder widen, moving away from the ear and rolling back and downward movement. So bicep pointing upward without disturbing the bicep, without disturbing the tricep. We're going to just use the range of the elbow to moving the forearms inward. So forearms rolling inward, and then upper arms going out and forearms rolling inward. So here using the biceps muscles to roll the shoulders out, tricep, engaging the tricep muscle, and using the forearms to turning the palm facing towards each other. So trying to have that stability in your arms. So once you turn the hands like that, I give you the brick here, you're going to press the hands against the brick. So see, trying to keep the fingers separate as much you can, or try to use the center of the palms to press the brick harder. So you're going to make one action like pressing strongly. So see, when you make that action, so what happens? Shoulder become more stable, more stronger when you're making that action, like when you're pressing the hands strongly towards each other. So it helps us to develop the awareness on our shoulders, which give us a little bit stability in our shoulder. So now in this position, we're going to lift the arms up, but before to lifting the arms up, once again, we readjust our body. Thighs, tailbone, belly, chest, and especially the lower spine. So you maintain that pressure like squeezing action. Squeeze the brick harder with your palms. You good? You want to rest a little bit? Okay. So press the hands strongly, shoulder moving back, and with the inhalation, so keep rolling the biceps up, and then take the hands over the head very gently, as much possible. So squeeze the brick harder, as much possible. Again, push the floating ribs into the body and lift from the sides of the chest as much possible, and extend your armpit to the triceps nicely extended. And then here is your responsibility if you drop the brick. So what are you going to do now? So from this position with the next inhalation, trying to extend from the lateral part of the body and then push the brick a little slightly backward. So maintain that pressure. You're making the squeezing the brick harder. So maintain that pressure in your hands, which will allow us to keep the shoulder a little wide. Will develop the more awareness in our shoulder, will help us to strengthening our shoulder region, and trying to keep the elbows locked as much possible. We'll hold a few breaths. Inhale, belly in, pull the stomach a little inward. As you exhale, slowly bring the hands down, and then you can release the brick. Relax. Thank you. So let's try the Urdhva Hastasana one more time with a different angle, so which become more easier than the brick. So let's try. So for that, what you're gonna do? So especially the person, those are having some discomfort with the shoulder or any shoulder injuries, so it's become a little bit challenging for them to keep the brick a little bit higher. So we can use a strap for them to understanding how to pushing the shoulder away from each other, and how to getting that stability or firmness in our arms. So we're going to use the strap. So we'll use the strap, a shoulder width apart. We're going to make a loop. So let's see, have a look here. So how to make the loop. This is also the one of the understanding. We should have the understanding how to make the loop. So sometimes we make a loop which doesn't allow us to make it tight, or we lose it very quickly. So as we make a loop here, so look at the buckle here. So you're going to hold the buckle and the other edge in your hand, and here we have the one pin here. So we lift that pin up and insert the strap inside the buckle, and then drop the pin down. So as we drop the pin down, so we'll pull it back on the top, and now we have the loop here. So now if you want to make it tight, we softly pull that edge, so it's going to be tight. And now see, if you want, it's a very strong loop. Now we cannot lose it without lifting the pin. So if you want to make it loose now, so we just need to lift that buckle up. So as we have the loop here, so you softly lift that buckle up with the two fingers, and so we'll have the very strong, we can lose the strap very easily. So it's become very easy to release that strap. We can make that loop bigger. So let's try now. So we're going to make the loop shoulder width apart. So I pull the strap, so it's going to be tightened. So we're going to use the strap shoulder width apart. So usually we'll make the loop according the distance of our shoulder. So you can check the shoulder, the distance with like that with the loop. So we can we're going to make a loop shoulder width apart. So a little bit wider than the shoulder, the wideness of the wrist, so it take more space. So a little bit wider. Okay, now stretch your hands in front of you, Nick. So I give her the strap on her forearms in this position, just below the wrist and above the elbow. And what you're going to do, the action, first action with the brick, we make the one action like that, squeezing the hands towards each other. So as we squeeze the hands like that, it helps us to get the more stability in our shoulder. But now we're going to make action, pushing the hands like away from each other to find that stability in our arms. So pushing the hands away from each other, which will help us to push the shoulder away. So now here, as we inhale, again trying to find the stability nicely in this position, and I keep the loop a little bit side, so the edge gonna be to the side, not in front of the face. So with inhalation, you push the hands away from each other, move the tailbone in, and especially the floating ribs, the diaphragm moving into the body, and then try to move the bicep out here, and then take the arms over the head in a Urdhva Hastasana action. So maintain that action like you're gonna push the hands like away from each other. So trying to, as you push the hands away from each other, the strap gonna be very tightened in this position. Otherwise, if you don't push the hands, we just keep the arms up, you're hanging yourself, the strap gonna be loose. So try to make action, you're gonna push the hands like in opposite direction, right hand to the right side, left hand to the left side. And at the same time, keeping the shoulder out and into the body, and stretching from the lateral part of the arms now by pulling the floating ribs into the body. Now, Press the feet strongly on the floor, knees, thighs tight, and extend from the side, lifting the navel up and chest up and shoulder moving back, trying to push the hands backward nicely. And so, for example, you have something, the heavy weight, and it's pulling you like backward action as you do in downward facing dog action, like pushing the chest towards the thigh, same action, pushing the hands strongly backward to stretching the shoulders, your armpit nicely, and pulling the ribs nicely into the body. As far you go backward, same time, pull the belly in, ribs in, and then pushing the hands backward by maintaining that external rotation in our arms, which will allow us to go more deep in a flexion of the shoulder. So stretch upward to the ceiling and make the one action more, pushing the hands backward as much possible. Take a couple of breaths in this position and then exhale slowly. Lower the hands down and release the strap. So let's start again the Urdhva Hastasana or Hasta Uttanasana. With the brick and same time with the strap. So with the using the brick, we can find that stability in our legs, and by using the strap, we can find the stability in our arms and that that wideness in our shoulder. So let's try. First, we're gonna adjust the brick. So take the brick in the second label the same way as we did before, between the thigh, and squeeze the brick harder. And we have the strap. We already have the loop, shoulder width apart. So we're gonna adjust the strap in our arms. So try to push but always remember keeping this buckle away from the skin. Otherwise, give like a pinch sometimes. So we're gonna keep the buckle away from the skin, not connected with the skin. In any position wherever we're using the strap, keeping the buckle away from the skin. So now squeeze the legs tighten, squeeze the brick harder, and move the tailbone under and belly in, and lifting through the sides of the body as much possible. As we're maintaining the extension front part of the body, same time extend from the sides, the corner of the spine, which will allow us to length in all the sides of the vertebrae. So now here, moving the shoulder outwards slightly, so trying to make the extension on the top of the shoulder instead to collapsing here. So here now with the next inhalation, squeeze the brick and slowly take the arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. So as we're taking the arms up, just keep your brain in the sides of the chest and the lower spine. Make sure we're not getting the arch on the back. So we're trying to keep the back straight as much possible, pushing the hands up and back far as much possible. And so one action, you're gonna reach your hands up towards the ceiling, and second action, you're gonna push the hands backward for the Urdhva Hastasana to working on the nicely to flexion of the shoulders and opening the sides of the chest and lifting the chest higher. So take a couple of breaths in this position, nicely stretch up and squeeze same time. As you exhale, slowly, first lower the hands down, release the arms, slowly release the strap and release the brick. Relax. For the beginner, if they're finding difficult to straight the back or see, is the part the back we cannot see, we just feel it. Right, it's not something which you can see like turning around or watching your back. It's not possible to while doing the posture. So you just need to feel it to the sensation and that posterior tilt, anterior tilt of our hips when you're doing the asana. So to develop the awareness on the back, we can use the wall. So the wall is the partner. So I'm gonna get close to the wall. So I will not touch my heel on the wall. Otherwise, the wall pushing me away from the surface. So I'm going to keep my heel slightly away from the wall for the like 3 inches maximum, which will help me to keep my body like parallel to the wall. Otherwise, I'm going to like leaning forward away from the wall. So I keep my feet slightly forward away from the wall, like 3 inches space. So I'm going to use the brick, the second label as we did in the beginning to get the stability in our thigh. So I squeeze the brick tightly with my both legs and pushing the thighs and knees backward direction towards the wall. Pressing the ball of a big toe in this position, maintaining that internal rotation of the thigh, tailbone moving little in, and I keep my posterior body nicely connected with the wall especially from the buttocks, from the top of the upper thighs to the shoulder. So now I have the strap. I take the strap to get into the asana, which will help me to keep my shoulder wide. So I keep the strap shoulder width apart, and I'm going to insert my hand inside the strap. So I keep my strap on my forearms, center of the forearms. I roll my upper arms out, forearms inward, maintaining that position. So as I go up, trying to pull the belly in and trying to bring the spine nicely, like that arch, trying to fill that gap between the lower spine and the wall by tilting the tailbone in. So as we make the tailbone is tendency, naturally the knees come forward. So you press the knees back against the wall and then take the arms up for the Urdhva Hastasana. So stretching the arms up, shoulder moving backward, neck is straight. You just look front and move your thumb slightly like inward so that you can push the hands more further backward. So pulling the belly in as much possible, press the lower spine strongly on the wall, shoulder down and stretching from the inner side of the arms. Push the thighs and knees backward, neck is straight, and try to touch the lower spine on the wall as much possible by using the core strength. And take a few breaths in this position, but don't forget the extension from the sides of the body, reaching the fingertip up to the ceiling. You hold a few breaths, and then as we exhale, slowly first release the hand, and then slowly lose the connection from the back and wall, and then release the break back to the center. Relax.